do you think you can buy happiness?
I think that's a tricky question.
My name's Evan. This is my co-host, Cole.
What's popping off?
I feel like I could be a Disney prince.
Cole just solved global warming right now.
Juice WRLD recently released a song, and he actually has passed away. I think Taylor Swift's overrated.
The #1 podcast on Mars. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Run the Culture podcast, episode 13.
Episode 13. We're a teenager.
We're the lucky 13. Is
Oh my gosh.
We are fully a teenager now.
Teenager. Oh my god.
Are we in the awkward state? Like, are we just now
going through
puberty?
puberty?
If you have to
figuring
ask,
out.
you already know.
Yeah.
Don't know how to talk to adults.
Yeah.
Describes us perfectly.
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah.
You know,
actually.
like we really are
in
the pubescent stage of our product.
Wow.
It's the side hug for me.
The side
yeah,
hug.
we're side hug.
Oh yeah, when we see people, it's
it's the scoot.
Yeah.
And then
the side
and
hug.
just the rest,
Yeah.
arm resting.
Yeah. Okay, quick little tangent. When you liked a girl,
Yeah.
would you like ever side hug, but then pretend that you got invested in the conversation so you could leave your arm there?
Oh.
Or was I just different?
Oh.
I think. Well, you're smooth for sure.
Was that
definitely
smooth?
different.
No, looking back, that was corny.
But that was the building blocks. Okay. No, I've got a photo of my sophomore year of homecoming. This girl asked me to go to homecoming.
Yes.
And I was like, and she was bigger than me. She was a softball player. She could for real beat me up. I was a quick, probably
95 pounds.
110 soaking wet.
And yeah, and there's a photo, and I was like very like I feel like I don't want to touch girls, so I have a homecoming photo of my arm hovering.
No.
I didn't touch. It was hovering behind her.
And you can see the space between
You can
y'all.
see the space. I will find that
If you
photo.
do not find that, it needs to be the
Yo,
thumbnail.
it's on my Facebook.
Oh
it is
my
gnarly. And I'm so like tiny too. I was probably like 5 foot.
No
She was
way.
taller than me.
No.
She was
It was-
6'5".
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
she was dunking on me.
No way.
Okay.
Gosh,
Yeah.
all right, wait. Before we get in, we got to introduce our guest.
We got some amazing guests. We have
Amazing
the Uptown
guests.
Youth Director, Destiny DC,
Hey,
Destiny
we're here.
Chanel.
Destiny
Yes.
Chanel. That's a fancy name.
Destiny
is.
Chanel.
Destiny
I
Chanel.
never knew what the C stood for until right now.
Are you serious? It's in my
Chanel.
Instagram name.
That's the only reason I know. I only know people by their Instagram handle, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair.
What's hers then?
Destiny Chanel.
What's mine?
Underscore.
Okay,
do I
Cole,
follow
you
you?
don't post, so let's start there.
He doesn't.
Do you know your handle?
Oh, he's one of those
Yeah,
guys.
it's Cole C. Cooper.
He's one of those
Could you
dudes that
log
that
into your Instagram right now if your password wasn't saved?
Listen, man.
Okay.
lazy man.
How often do you post, Gabby? Also,
I
we got
don't.
Gabby on the podcast.
Yeah,
She's been on
Hey.
before. She's
a
an OG.
vet. Yeah, she's
Wisdom
she's
for
the
days.
Best.
The
Just
best.
full
She's
of
like our
wisdom.
podcast auntie.
I
I
love
love
that.
that. That's a great title for
The
it.
She's
podcast
like my
auntie.
real life auntie. I be
Auntie-
coming.
Auntie
I
Gabby.
come in to work sometimes, and Gabby's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Nothing." And she's like, "You're lying."
She's just
Let's-
got that discernment.
I don't start there, okay? I first greet you and then
And
You're
then
like,
say
"Oh, what's
what's wrong
wrong?"
with you.
Okay,
it's a
for
good
sure.
morning, but before the morning
morning,
fully gets
every
out,
Cole.
it's are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it's like a chiropractor. You just gotta adjust some things sometimes.
Wow.
Dang.
Wow.
Too early. Too early.
See?
Gosh, hallelujah. But do you? How often do you post, Gabby?
I don't, but I run socials, so
Oh, don't count. On your own Instagram, how often do you post?
I don't.
She
Here's the
uses up
thing.
all that energy.
I take pictures.
Mhm.
I just don't
Never
feel the
post
need
them.
to validate myself.
Me
through
either.
posting them.
I feel like I'm overly anti social media though,
When did that
Overly
happen for
anti?
you?
because when I was a kid, I used to be like, "Dang, I need to get them likes. I need to get them
That's
likes."
true.
Let
That's
me,
true.
and then I would like kept reorganizing my feed. I'm like, "Dang, this photo look whack. Let me delete it." My graduation photo isn't even on my Instagram because I was like, "Dang, I cannot let these people know that I graduated high school in
Oh my gosh.
Did
2019."
you at least archive it?
Yeah, it's archived.
Okay,
it's archived.
okay.
yeah, Cole's one of those.
It
dudes
can
that
come
only
back when I'm,
has-
like,
You
21.
only got like 6 photos on your feed.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But it's like not too many things I'd be going through to where I'm like, "Dang, this is monumental.
Yeah.
I need to post this one for the one
I
time."
still got my original Instagram post on my Instagram.
You're lying.
It was a
Really?
pic. Yeah.
It's a picture of you and the girl far
Just
away.
hovering. Just me hovering, dude.
Dang.
Just
That's so
floating
funny.
there.
Different. My first Instagram post ever. It was on an iPad, and I was in my sister's room
Not
that
the
was
iPad.
decorated as a sister's room. It was like green walls with purple polka dots and flowers. took a picture, posted up a selfie on the iPad. The quality was about 240.
Nice.
And I was like, just here chilling in my sister's room.
Stop.
That was your caption?
Yes.
Dude, I got some cringy captions.
No, like, but now I take time to think about my caption, or I'll have my caption be overly corny.
My
Like,
captions
true.
stress me out too much. I just go with no caption.
Why are captions such a
Yeah.
thing?
Caption culture?
Caption
we talk
Caption
about that?
culture.
Next time on the podcast, we're talking about caption culture.
Caption culture. Let us
It
know
just
what you think
doesn't-
in the comments.
I don't know why it makes so. Did you guys used to have a YouTube channel? I know
No.
we're getting
I-
off topic, but did y'all have a YouTube channel when you were a
Yes,
kid?
but I never had
Yeah.
the guts to like actually post a video.
Yeah.
You didn't?
No, I recorded so many like makeup vlogs, but
You never uploaded any of them?
uploaded
That's funny.
Evan,
No.
did you have a YouTube channel as a kid?
So I'm a big dreamer.
Uh-huh.
I dreamed of having a YouTube channel, being a YouTuber
Dang.
when I was just a young little boy, back when I was just hovering my arm over girls' shoulders because I didn't want to
Maybe
violate
one
any
day I'll
boundaries.
close this gap with her like I closed the gap with my YouTube dreams.
Exactly.
Wow.
No, for real. But actually, it's funny because being in I feel like I've had like a lot of different dreams, like to
Yeah.
be a YouTuber and even to like run a podcast has been something that like I was like, man, I
That'd be
thought
smooth.
that would
Yeah.
be so cool, and to like to do graphic design and to be in ministry. And honestly, it's been really cool to see God kind of like thread some of those things together.
Yeah.
Where I felt like I had so many different dreams growing up that were so disconnected, and then I feel like slowly God's like kind of threaded me like into opportunities like that where
Yeah.
when I moved here to be a part of this church, I had no idea that it would be what it would mean that God would meet the all the dreams that I had
Right.
in me. And I feel like I feel like I hear people talk about too, like there's a sacrifice to being in ministry. Like you
Yeah,
have to
for
give
sure.
up things. And I don't feel like maybe I just have a really unique experience in that, but I don't feel like I feel like God has done an incredible thing of what I thought was me, like making a sacrifice to like give up my dreams to like do what I feel like he's called me to do. I feel like he has brought those things alongside me too. And
For
then
sure.
like, yeah, I want you to have that too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like the cool thing about our God is I realize he wants us to be happy.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't want us to
Okay,
do
ahead. I'm
that.
Coronavirus.
Let's just.
No, there's so much.
I love how you
pollen
pointed at
every-
me too.
What verse was that?
And you know the thing about our God is
He was I could feel it building up as soon as I started talking.
that just unlocked it.
That was
Gosh, and I had something I thought was cool to say, and it's gone now. But I
Right.
think it's dope. Like, you wanted to be a YouTuber, you wanted to work in ministry. God still used that fire, but just put it in a different place. He put it in
Yeah.
a different
Yeah.
pit.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
And
think
this
that's
is your both of your first times working in ministry.
mine as well.
You've been in ministry been at this job for 4 months now,
Mhm.
and then you've been working on contract on the Uptown team for like 1 month or 2 months.
2 months.
Dang.
Dang.
2-ish months.
We're all under 6 months working at a church.
Do you?
Hey.
Hey,
Yeah.
Not you,
Well,
Evan. Take your hand
before
out
this-
right now.
Before this, I worked for another church.
Oh, really?
full-time.
Yeah. So actually,
And then
take your
before
hand back
that, before that, I used to do childcare for church.
up. Oh,
Solid.
So I've always been dabbling, you know.
dang, you a
That's
vet
right.
for real.
Same. Big same.
I've
Do you
ne-
feel like you've had to make a sacrifice or give up some of your dreams to be a part of what you feel like God's called you to do?
I think so. I feel like I used to play around and try and like straddle the line of doing what I know God wanted me to do, and then also trying to live how everyone else, like in our age bracket, was living. But I went to school for ministry in college, so it was like that was also an interesting dynamic of being in college, which everyone's like, woohoo,
Party.
and then being in a Christian college, which is like ministerial leadership, exegesis.
there was no party still.
Is Bible
She said
study a
barely.
party?
Barely.
So
You went to a Christian college as well?
No, I didn't.
See, she was going to the parties.
There you have it.
Yeah, I actually went to school for fashion. So I have a
Nice.
degree in fashion, but I think slowly, like when I started volunteering at Uptown and youth, I think that like God gave me like my calling in the youth ministry, and it was also like a God dream at the same time.
Yeah.
So I feel like I haven't like sacrificed anything yet, but I have put stuff like on the shelf that like
Okay.
I do want to come back to, and it will
Yeah.
come back eventually.
Well,
I feel like that is sacrifice in some way, though.
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to
That's
be
true.
like, oh, I amputated my arm because God called me to ministry. Like, I think it's the little things. Those
Yeah.
are all sacrifices.
yeah.
But I don't
Yeah.
think any of that's wasted. Like, I don't think God was like, I'm glad you did that for me.
Mhm.
Pat on the back. Good job.
job.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I
For
feel
sure.
like all of that
He uses.
lays the foundation towards where he's trying to get you.
Mhm.
Like, there were times that friends would be like, oh, we're going to go do this, this, and this. Because I've always had friends that are like in the church and friends that are out of the church.
Yeah.
I've had friends that are like, oh, we're going to go, I don't know, clubbing. And I'm like, I don't feel like
Nah.
that's for me.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't feel like there was anything inherently wrong with being in those
The club.
circumstances. I just feel like
It's just
you
not
get to
your
a point
thing.
in your faith where God's like, all right, which one are you going to choose, me or this thing?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think that that's going to get me closer to where I'm trying to end up.
Yeah.
That's good.
I've
I
always
feel that.
kind of clung to there's a verse in Matthews that talks about seek first the kingdom of God and all these
And all
things will
these things
be.
added onto you.
Mm.
You know your stuff, dude. You read the Bible?
The
Sometimes.
handshake.
Let's go, dude. Yeah, and I feel like that's been so true of like seek first the like follow me, and I don't even
Mhm.
think necessarily that means work in ministry. I
Yeah.
think it means like do what you feel like God's called you to do,
Yeah.
and embrace whatever you feel like is what you gotta, the dreams you gotta let go of to fully embrace that, and then all these things will be added to you. The things that you really want, the things that you don't
Yeah.
even know that you want or know how to ask for, those things will be added to you. And I feel like God is still unfolding those things.
For sure.
I think one of the big things for me was the community.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never like lived on a college campus, and I never really wanted like the college experience, but I always wanted to kind of have that like close group of friends to like live with. And when I moved here, I did the internship, and I got that. Like I lived with 8 dudes and never want to do that again for 3.5 months. But it really was like incredible of like just always like having like super close friends around. And it's just so cool to think like that was just a little desire that I had in me just to like for a season, and God gave me that too. And just the power of like staying faithful
Yeah.
of I feel like this is what God wants me to do. So I'm just going to take that step of faith and just follow him, and then watch what he adds on to
Right.
it.
I feel like that's something that I've experienced the opposite of.
Yeah.
Because I've never experienced what it's like to be in college, even Christian college, regular college. Only college I've experienced is online. And the biggest tension with my mother and sister, because my sister's about to be a doctor, my mom's a midwife. Like
Wow.
they
That's so
both
cool.
they value education heavily, and not that I don't, but I just don't see myself in a classroom on a dorm doing
For
stuff
sure.
like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So then I have a conversation with my mother and sister, and they're like, "How do you know that you want?" It's not, I don't think they doubt that I'm called to ministry. I think they doubt that I know that this is the time of which I'm supposed to be in ministry.
Interesting.
So they're like, "How do you know that you don't want to be on a college dorm if you've never been there?
Yeah.
How do you know that you don't want to be in a classroom if you've never been there?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm willing to give that up because I know that God has called me to be here.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
That's good.
I feel like that's almost like the argument of can you buy happiness?
Yeah.
It's like is
Will you go
what
into
is
debt
what's
for college
really
to
gonna
get-
meet
yeah.
my need? Is that really gonna be me getting a college degree, me getting a really high paying job that's gonna give me
Yeah.
stability? But to remove from or to not take into account the ways that we are getting paid and the leadership investment in us and the humbling that has to happen in order to like serve other people and put other people first. I feel like there's such a payment in that as well
For sure.
that isn't monetary,
Right.
that isn't it's not even measurable really,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like it truly is like that is a bank account that we all
Yeah.
can fill.
For
And
sure.
I feel like the more we invest in that, long term, the greater the return will be on that. But I feel like that is it is back to that. Like, do you think you can buy happiness?
I think that's a tricky question.
It is.
Because to a certain degree, you can.
Yeah, I feel like short-term wise, yes. Like, for example, if you hit on the sneakers app, like that's short-term happiness. But like,
That's a fact.
I feel like also I love like donuts. That's making me happy if I buy the donuts, but it's not gonna like put aside like the anxiety I might have every day.
Yeah.
So it's like short-term happiness, you can buy it, but in terms of like longevity, I feel like no, probably not.
Yeah.
I think it can make you happy, but
Yeah.
I don't think it can provide happiness.
Interesting.
I think like
Ooh.
when I look, even though I work in ministry, I still have money.
Yeah.
And I look at my bank account and I'm like, oh, I think I'm 19. I have a decent amount of money. I'm in a good spot financially. God is blessing me.
Yeah.
But if my bank account was in the negatives, I definitely I wouldn't be walking down the street. Today's a good day. I love the situation I'm in. Like, I'm not saying that money is the root of happiness, because I don't think it is. I think the purest form of happiness is self-reflection. But that's just a thought that I have.
Like
Interesting.
thankful, like you, like
Reflection, I feel like, is the purest form of happiness because it doesn't have to be your own in order for you to be happy about it.
Huh.
Which is why I think reflection is a very unique and the coolest form of happiness, in my opinion.
yeah.
But money, to have it, you can be happy. To not have it, you cannot be happy. But I
Yeah.
do not think it is the root of happiness.
Yeah. I feel like
And I've seen more issues arise around money than I've seen.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like
99
influencers and
problems.
Yeah.
who are like legit millionaires, like they still struggle with depression and
Yeah.
anxiety.
Right.
And they have like all the money in the world.
Exactly.
I feel like it definitely does get to a point where it like is inverse, where like you become so reliant on buying things or trying to get a good experience from buying things that it like doesn't give you that same, like the more you do something, then the less it enjoyable it becomes. And I feel like you can buy happiness when it comes to like getting your basic necessities, like,
Right.
but after that point, I don't think you can buy it with money. I do think you can buy it with experience. I think experiences make you happy, and exposing yourself to different points of view and exposing yourself to different cultures and exposing yourself to different ways of living. And I think it goes right along with what you were saying of growing your perspective, because so much of happiness is a perspective thing. Like here in America, we are, I mean, the baseline is a lot higher than, a third world country or something like that.
Yeah.
And those people, there's incredibly happy people that have nothing.
Yeah,
Right.
That's true.
I think it's because in a sense, ignorance is rooted with happiness.
Ooh.
Do you think?
For
'Cause
sure.
I feel like there are people who know a lot of stuff and are still happy. I think it's what you choose to give attention to, though.
I think the people who I've known closely, the more that they know, the more I feel like there's a burden with knowledge.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
As when you're young and you're a child, they talk about childlike faith, but there's also childlike happiness. Like when you're a child, you don't have to worry about paying bills. You don't have to worry about your bank account. You don't have to worry about anything revolving around the fear of the world, because you know that my mom's going to provide for me.
Yeah.
You don't even have to think about your mother providing for you because it happens.
Yeah.
There's some children who, of course, don't have that privilege.
Right.
But in some cases, your mom's going to provide for you. I have a house to sleep in a house. Even kids who are in bad situations, even kids who are homeless, they still find happiness in the homelessness.
I think
Yeah.
it's simplicity, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we convolute happiness by adding a bunch of stuff to it. Like if I have a Bentley, a Rolex,
Yeah.
a husband, a wife who loves me, my
$1
kids
million.
who are also named Bentley and Rolex. Like, like we're like, oh, once we get there, then I'll be happy. But we keep pushing the line back because we keep adding this stuff.
For sure.
And so I think like what you were talking about, self-reflection being happiness, I kind of feel like that you were onto something with that. Because I think when you can like sit and be content with what you've accomplished and what God has brought you through and who he's molded you to be through those situations, then you're like, okay, if God didn't give me another blessing, I would be all right with
Still
that.
be all right.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not going to lie. I go on YouTube in the middle of the night and look up people's testimonies of how God has changed their life.
Really?
Because it's so filling to me to know,
Yeah.
like, this person was addicted to cocaine for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, God released them from that addiction.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
inspiring to me to know that the happiness that God has given them to deliver them from the thing that they were going through in their life, I can feed off of. And it's a very unselfish happiness.
Yeah.
It's like they don't even have to know that I'm
watching
their story and I can
Yeah.
still be happy about it.
Yeah.
Like our Here Come Church videos, I love
Oh
every
my-
single time.
They
The
get me
3
so hyped.
baskets. That 3 baskets got me.
I'm not even playing. I got home. I had a bunch of laundry baskets in my room, and
They're
I
not
looked
the
at them
same.
different. I was like,
Dang.
oh,
Dang.
Gosh, and I don't even know if the symbolism of the 3 kings were supposed to be there, but I was looking deep into 3 baskets.
Sheesh.
Wow.
I was like, dang, is the 3 baskets resemblatory of the 3 things all she had to give? Was in the 3 baskets of clothes, is that resemblatory of the 3 kings who came to Jesus and they gave them the things that they had for when he was born into the world?
Yeah.
interesting.
And they showed that on the weekend that Jesus had died? It's not?
Well,
I think
The
it
3
is
wise men.
resemblatory.
I thought they were kings as well. Okay.
I think it depends on the song you sing about it.
You know what? Don't roast me based off of my
Resemblatory.
Bible education.
I love it when Cole uses big words too. I love your vocabulary.
Thank
So
you,
true,
man.
so
Thank
true.
you, man.
So true. I love the dark hole on YouTube that those take you down.
Yes.
I've gotten on the testimony train, and then it goes from there to like,
I spent 30 days in hell and came back, and I
Yes.
know God is
and
real.
then it's like, holy
No,
crap.
for real. And people will be like, I died on the hospital bed. God was floating above me. I came back, and now I know everything. And you're
Those
Yeah.
get me.
I need to watch
All right.
more of these.
Yeah, I don't know the legitimacy of some of them, but they still be getting me
I
lit.
know. I'm like, I get hyped on it. I don't really believe a word of it, but I
Yeah.
get
You're
hyped
like,
on it.
yes.
y'all remember?
They made a movie about
Yeah,
one
but they
who
said
had
it was a
passed
lie,
away
right?
and then came back. The one,
What?
It was like, what did they call
Oh.
it? I can't remember. But tangent, left turn. Y'all remember the section of YouTube where everyone used to put their testimonies on index cards?
yes,
Oh man.
No.
And they would move the index card
yes,
back.
and then it would
It'd
be
be
more of
like,
the story.
When I was 7.
Oh, those YouTube. Yes.
yes, oh
Yes.
my.
And they just stare at the camera.
Yes,
just
and
like
there's
sad.
no sound.
And
It's
then there's
just
something
the
like
index
super.
card.
It
And
just
then people
gets-
started
it just
making-
gets heavier and heavier and heavier, and you're like, oh my gosh.
And
I
then
used to
people
play
started
the
making
worst
jokes
life
about them on TikTok to where they're like, when I was 5, my mom did not take me to get ice cream with her. And then they would like pretend cry. I don't understand why TikTok has this ability to take something as serious as a testimony and take it into something that's a joke.
Yeah.
Why is TikTok getting this reputation of
Bro.
nothing is off limit for jokes?
Well, yeah. TikTok culture is a unique thing.
It
A microcosm
Like,
of
I feel
society.
like low key, I feel like TikTok, you're glorified if you're a player. Like, oh, this dude, he got all
Oh
the
man.
Like, it's craveable if you get all the girls. It's
Dude.
craveable if you get all the guys. But
Yeah.
why?
Mm.
Do you not want an
Dude,
exclusive
These
woman?
guys, TikTok guys, the like the lip bite thing. Have you seen
Oh
that?
Oh my gosh, the eyebrows, the squint, and the
sorry.
lip
Wait,
bite.
Yeah,
wait, what?
The it's no. There's like this trend that's
It's
like
like
a
the
duet
sound.
thing where you act like you're. I don't even know how to explain it honestly.
There's a sound that's like boom, 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 and you're supposed to do it all at the time that the beats hit. So you're supposed to put your eyebrows up, squint your eyes, and then bite your lip, and that's like your look,
It's a no for
your
me.
smolder face.
Who be coming up with these? Who is like, I'm gonna make the new trend today. Let me figure.
Right, today's the day to release it onto the world.
And I feel like too, it's like this mentality of like I'm gonna be different. Like I'm gonna wear the unique clothes. I'm gonna have the cross dangling earring, and I'm gonna have the tattoos and the hair the certain way. But then it's like, then you just look like every single other
Yeah.
TikTok boy or like
Being different is not even a thing anymore.
no.
Really?
You can't be different because everybody's the same somewhere.
Yeah. I feel like even in the effort to be different is to be more like someone else that you admire so that you can be accepted
Gosh,
in
Evan, give me
that
a
same
word
way
from
that
the
they're
Lord.
accepted.
That was good right
Well,
there.
it's
That was
time
a
to
word.
throw out
You need to be
everything.
fanned off after
Wow.
that one.
Let's
Right.
pray out.
I do need to
Honestly.
be fanned out. It's so hot in this room. Are y'all
It's a bit toasty because we having
Toasty.
great
You
conversation.
know
It's
why?
because this
That's
conversation's
exactly
fire.
it.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. But as you're talking about, I actually do know a guy. He's on TikTok. I had a preconceived notion in my mind. He's like one of them TikTok dudes.
Yeah.
It's Joe.
Oh,
But I'm cool with Joe now.
I like Joe. I like Joe.
I love
I like
Joe. Joe, I love you
Shout
now.
out.
In
But
my
when
head,
I
was
when I
like,
first met Joe, I was like, he's one of them
Joe Dow.
TikTok dudes.
Yeah,
Joe
he
J.
is.
Doll.
But it took me like the 8th hangout for him to break that reputation in my mind. For me to
Wait,
be like,
it took 8
The
times?
8th?
it like 8. It's
Joe,
I
if you're
just
watching
I just started
this.
messing with Joe like 3 months ago.
Joe. We
Dang.
need Joe on the next
We love
episode.
He,
Joe.
he
can
had
tell
built this
his
whole
side.
profile on
But
Joe. Just
exactly,
like, man, this guy.
based off of an outside, and I feel like that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Their
Wow.
reputation gets broken before they even get to meet the person.
Yeah.
How do you even But Joe, I
See-
love Joe now.
See,
But
that's a good conversation because where's the line between wanting to rebuild a reputation, but then also I don't want to be consumed with caring about what other people think
Yeah.
of me. Like I feel like that tension is so tough because I don't want to be perceived as a certain type of way.
I don't want
But
to be
also-
a people pleaser, but I also want
Yeah.
to be a nice person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think you navigate that?
I guess it depends on your standard. Like, whose standard are you trying to reach?
Yeah.
'Cause if you're trying to hit the
Values.
moving target of people's approval, your whole entire life, you're going to be changing and switching up.
And then you
I feel
never
like
know
people
who you
know
are.
that, though. Like, I know we've all met someone who you're like, the second you meet them, you're like, nope, this isn't who they really are. Like, you
Yeah.
can see through it. But we still try that. I don't know why. But I think that's also like what culture sells is like, oh, in order to be liked, you have to be this, this, and this. You have to
Yeah.
be this size in pants. You need to be this tall. You need to have this girl
You
or
need to have
this
a
guy.
six-pack. You can't be
These
5'11".
Jordans, but not these Jordans.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then you get it all. And people are like, actually, just kidding. We like this instead.
Yeah.
But I think like rebuilding your reputation, you have to start with knowing what reputation you have first.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because sometimes we're like, oh, we're just going to switch up and do this thing. But it's like, no, your reputation still sucks because even though you externally change all these things, it's a matter of the heart. And so if your heart is filled with junk, then that's what's going to come out of your mouth. And so you can look like $1,000,000, but if you're broke on the inside, broke on the outside.
Go off.
Dang, your
wow.
your
Wow.
heart can be filled with junk, and that is what will come out of your
Come out of
mouth.
It's
Out
biblical.
of the heart,
That's
the
a
mouth
word.
speaks.
That's true.
That is fire, Gabby.
That's good. Yeah, I feel like I totally forgot what I was gonna say. It'll come back to me.
But I noticed because it took him maybe a second to create that reputation in my mind of this is how he is, and it took a very long time for me to break that reputation
Yeah.
in my mind of who he
Yeah.
actually is.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, how many people am I coming across that way?
Ooh.
Mm.
How many, like, what reputation have I put across, even in my own family? My sister's like, ugh, you're so emotional. And I'm like,
She says
what?
that about you?
Yes. Me,
That makes me
emotional.
laugh.
And I'm like, do we live together? Have you met me? What have I done to create this reputation for you to think that I'm emotional?
And what's bad with being emotional?
Yeah, nothing's
True,
bad with
true.
being emotional.
Talk
I'm
about
gonna
it.
be
But
more in
I feel
tune
like
with
that.
my
Yeah, that's
emotions.
I feel like that's the tension right there. Of like,
How-
where's the line between wanting to not be perceived a certain way, but then also being like, well, what's wrong with me being this way?
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like it is kind of what you said. It's like it's good to be aware. Like, when's the last time I like asked people around me,
Yeah.
hey, like, what's the
What's it like living on the other side of me?
yeah? Do
Ooh.
you
That's deep.
That's from Robert Madu, not me.
Oh.
At
Yeah.
Pastor Robert. Woody.
like? Do you feel respected by me?
Yeah.
Do you feel seen? Do you feel wanted? What are the things? And honestly, the best way to do that is to get a guy to get a girlfriend, because my girlfriend has made me very aware of the
Dang.
flaws or the things the perception that I didn't even realize I had. And I feel like having those people in your life that can be truly honest with you of like, hey, whenever I come to you, you make a face that makes me feel really stupid. I'm like, really?
Dang.
Just my facial expression makes you feel like you can't talk to me. I'm like, dang.
Wow.
Okay, I gotta shift that.
So if I get a girlfriend, I'll become more self-aware?
No, but I think when you have close relationships like that, it's harder to not be self-aware.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. By the way,
Like-
Evan has a fiance. It's not a girlfriend.
Yeah.
He forgot.
Yeah,
Update.
Evan has
Life
a fiance.
update.
It is my fiance. I'm sorry, Mackenzie. No, she won't.
No, Mackenzie's a tender woman.
She is. Yeah, my fiance. Okay.
That's the
Child
title
anyway.
for the episode.
Mackenzie, a tender woman. Mackenzie, I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't
my
hear it until
gosh.
I said it.
That is
Nice.
so funny.
Wow. I was going to say, along with being self-aware, it's also, I feel like, how you respond to getting that feedback from people.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like if you're, like, for me, I get a little defensive. I'm not going to lie.
Same.
So
Mhm.
if I get defensive about feedback, some, like, people are not going to want to be
Yeah.
open to tell me about myself.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the thing too of like it's kind of tough to separate what makes me valuable because there's like this innate value that we all have that because we're created by God, because we have the capacity to experience love, that in turn makes us worthy of love.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then there's also this other part of like, but what I do and my ability also creates value.
Right.
And so I feel like that's kind of a tension too of yeah, it's tough to receive feedback or tough to be critiqued by someone else because that really hits maybe what I've clung to as what makes me valuable.
That's it.
And it's so tough to kind of separate those two of like I was thinking about this. I'm like, man, Elon Musk has created so much more value
Yeah.
in the world, like tactical value, than I probably ever will. But we're both of the same worth. Like we're both human. So it's like a weird thing too of like,
Yeah.
it's so difficult to separate those two. And even in like how we act of like, sometimes I can find myself in a mode of the reason I'm working so hard is to create more value so that I can be perceived as more valuable. But those
Yeah.
two aren't mutually exclusive. Like
Right.
I can create no value and still be worth a high level, being loved.
But it's
Wow.
like the verse that talks about how man focuses on the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart.
Yeah.
Like, I think we have to remember that because there are going to be people who you're around who you feel like you can't hang if your accolades don't stack up to where theirs are. And then you're like, oop, am I inferior?
Does that not inspire y'all though?
What?
What?
Which part?
I love hanging out. Like majority of my friends are 30-year-olds, just because I know they're at a place in life to where I want to be.
Right.
So I'm like, when I know that,
Yeah.
I don't belong in this room, that makes me more comfortable.
That's
When I
good.
feel like I belong in a room, I am uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's good perspective.
Well, I think it goes back to the heart. I'm just going to keep circling it back.
posture.
Because, like, if you feel like you belong in a room, you could err on the side of entitlement. So it's like, do you feel like you belong in a room because you
Dang.
feel seen, known, and loved? Or do you feel like you belong in a room because you feel entitled to be in the room? Because those are two different things. Like, I would rather be in a room where it kind of has both. Like, where I feel like all my homies are accomplished. Like, we out here left no crumbs. But also,
Yeah.
like, if
In our
I
bag.
were down bad or whatever, then they could be like, yo, you good? And I could be like, or feel safe enough to be vulnerable with them and know that they're not going to go air me out on Twitter or something.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah, I got friends like that too. I was just joking.
Not cool. You don't have to take it back.
Look, Gabby, you made me feel bad.
Oh my gosh.
Why are all my
Oh,
friends so
no.
much older? than
Yeah,
me?
why are my, I have friends my age too. Just most of them are not. Travis is my friend.
Travis.
You don't have friends?
Hey, this is not
Hey,
what this
yeah,
is turning into.
this is not that.
Why you getting defensive?
I don't know. What's
Destiny,
happening?
break
What just
that down.
happened?
I feel uncomfortable
Why?
right now. Jesus, come in the room. Come in the room, Lord.
He's here. He's here.
No, but I kind of off what you said. I read this book by Brene Brown, and she had
I
an
love her.
incredible,
She's
incredible
amazing.
quote that she said that I would rather be known than liked. Meaning, I would rather be able to walk into a room and seek out for people to know who I am, rather than to leave knowing that people really liked me, and the shifting target of trying to figure out what people like and what they don't like, so that I can just stay in that category of like, oh, they really liked me. I think they really liked me,
For sure.
and shifting into I just want to be known.
Yeah.
I am who I am, and I want people to leave knowing who I am instead of getting a fake projection of what I think that they would like in me.
That's what it's going to sound mad morbid, but when I'm like driving on the highway behind a tractor trailer,
Oh.
I'm like, dang.
It's not
Dear
funny.
Lord, please keep me safe. But if something happens, what the heck are people gonna say about me when I'm gone? Like, are they gonna be like,
The legacy.
here
That's a
lied
great
Cole,
question, though.
the 19-year-old who was
Dang.
amazing, the
know
19-year-old who was annoying?
You're asking yourself the real. You
I
have an
had- Y'all
don't-
existential.
I do this all
Thoughts,
the
bro.
like
No.
almost when I cross bridges. I'm
Oh,
like, if
all
I
the
fall off
time.
this bridge right now, what my mama gonna say at my
Or
funeral?
those trucks with the tarps on the back.
Yes.
They be hitting the bumps, and
And
the
then
tarp
the
be
cars-
like, flap, 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 flap. Like,
And then
no,
the cars
I'm out.
bounce too.
today's the day.
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
Jesus, what is the church gonna say about me?
I had a teacher, shout out to Pastor Ralph. He was my college professor. He talked about how, like, would you rather people have all these things to say about you, like Destiny was amazing, she impacted many lives, da da da. Or if your headstone, another morbid thought, if your headstone only said DC, a woman after God, or just Cole, or a man after God, like, would that be enough? Like, would we be okay with it just saying that we pursued God and that was the sum of our life? Because I literally sat in that class for the rest of the day. He probably asked other questions, but I was like,
That hit me.
That's deep.
You know what? I don't want to be
My
nice.
spirit left my body.
I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to be I want to be a man after God.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. I want to be a man after the Lord and Savior. That's a
because it's like ultimately all the rest of the stuff you can't take with you. Like,
Yeah.
sure, we can
when you die,
stack
can't
our
take it to the
paper.
grave.
Yeah.
Who said
Right.
that? When I die,
No,
can't
he
take
said,
it.
he said, Drake said, when I die, put my money in the
grave.
grave.
Yeah, he said the opposite. He said, somebody said, when you die, you can't take it
The
with you.
prophet Drake once said.
mean-
Actually, that's a misquote.
But we're going
all,
over
I,
here.
all I know is that money does buy happiness sometimes, but a lot of the time it doesn't.
Money can't buy you love.
Wait.
That's a Beatles song.
What's love got to do? Got to do.
You in this bass line.
Which part you're gonna sing?
Look,
don't know the
I
actual
start with the
song.
lyric. You know what? That's the song today. Sheesh! Come back next week, y'all.
Youth Nation.
Youth Nation.